As a writer, I will be the first to tell you that journaling, especially if you're a writer yourself, can be one of the most important self-discovery tools that you can have in your arsenal. And once you start writing and seeing on paper or on a screen exactly what makes you tick, what triggers you, what empowers you, you will learn to not be so emotional when you discover somebody pushing your trigger button. Triggers are not there to put you into a depressive state. Triggers are there to alert you to what needs to be healed, what needs to be changed, and how you need to show up for other people. Because it's not just about you. It's about how you affect everyone else. How your decisions, as much as you may think that they're the best thing for you, sometimes they're not going to escape untouched by outside forces or unmessed with by outside forces. Because what's best for you can result in one of two things. If the outside force is somebody that doesn't have your good intentions in mind, that trigger is going to show you where your power lies and what step you need to take to get to that point. And that's a threat to that enemy. And we'll talk more about enemies and their role. And how your intention may be something that might harm someone else close to you. And that's why there is some kind of delay or interruption. God's delays are not God's denials. We have to start looking past the nose on our face. Now, we're going to talk about prayer. When you pray for something, there's a lot of people on the other side that will say, oh, well, you're trying to manifest things to go your way. What I'd like to say to that, as maybe a rebuttal, or not even a rebuttal, but a way to get you to think about something else, to come to either a new conclusion that's more helpful to you in your own spiritual growth, or that confirms what you already know. And that's, how does your decisions affect other people? Now, in truth, your enemies are only the challenges. You can't go through this life without any challenges. Even people that are born into affluence have the added stress, not knowing if the friends that they have in their friend circle are there for them or for their money. Now, there's a lot of people that would say, oh, well, people of affluence tend to have friends of affluence as well. The thing is when you're rich, you're always looking to make more money. And if you have an opportunity, if you're not really friends with that person, to take that money from them, you're going to take it. Enemies will always show you what they're supposed to show you as far as how powerful you really are. And that same power is cultivated by those that love you and hated by those who hate you. Think of the areas in your life that you've struggled addiction, poverty, not being able to find love. Let's take each of those, because when I do readings for my clients, it's usually one of those three things that we talk about. Let's say finances are an issue for you. Money goes out faster than it comes in. You could be saving, and then something will happen. You'll make one miscalculation in your budget, or you'll not be as hard-nosed and as stubborn with your budget just one time, and everything falls apart. Let's say your issue is in love. You can't seem to find a partner. Think of what finding a partner would do for the trajectory of your life. Conversely, what would you being financially sound do for the trajectory of your life? Because all of this is connected to what your mission is. Whatever the enemy tries to steal from you, or sometimes it seems like they successfully steal from us, right? But if you don't have it, it's because that wasn't meant for you. And not only that, it's because something bigger is in store for you. God has a bigger plan for you. Like, for instance, for a while I was on social media and I was doing so well on social media, namely YouTube. I had several thousand subscribers. It was growing rapidly. And all of a sudden, I paid attention to a troll and it went down from there. Once the troll has your attention, the other trolls come out, and then your energy is spent fighting the trolls instead of doing what you were supposed to do. And in that vein, they have successfully taken you off of what you were supposed to do. This is why I say that's what the block button was invented for. Ignore these trolls. You have to know what the agenda is, what the intention, what the strategy is. Once you know the strategy, you take your emotionality out of it. Once they can get you in an emotional place, then they can get you to change how you move. Emotions are great when they're connected to your intuition. But when your actions are influenced by your emotions, that's where the problems lie. This is why you have to be as logical, spiritually logical as possible. Why are these enemies here? Why are they here and what are they trying to take? It's the why, not the what. An enemy is going to do enemy things. You can't change a leopard's spots. A leopard never changes his spots. It remains the same. So it's on you to figure out why they've appeared. Take all the precautions you can to block them, because once they have your attention, then you've turned your attention from helping within your mission to addressing them. And that's what they want. They want to divert your attention. Conversely, the people that have been pouring into you for years, and sometimes it takes years before we realize the frustration that we brought these people by us not listening to their good advice. And you'll know who this is. Only years later will you realize, I should have listened sooner. Think about where you struggle in your life. That in there is where you're supposed to teach. The lesson comes from the struggle. If you never struggled, I don't understand, really, between you and me, guys. I don't understand how somebody that is not born in struggle, they have everything, thinks that they can teach about life. Life is comprised of ups and downs, not just ups. If you're living in a utopian bubble, how can you be the one to teach people about life and be a life coach? You have to learn some lessons. And you can't learn any lessons if everything is going great. You have to fall a couple of times. But how are you going to fall if you don't have these challengers, if you don't have these enemies? Now, this is not to say to be a dick. Excuse my French. Okay, this is not to say to be a bitch. Again, excuse my French. Purposely, just so you can have enemies, so you can talk. Oh, I must be doing something right. There's that saying, I must be doing something right, because look at all these enemies coming out. You shouldn't seek to make enemies by posting purposely baiting posts online. Your challengers are going to be set for you at specific intervals in your life. You shouldn't look to make enemies, just to be the talking head. Conversely, as well. I'm going to use that word a lot. Conversely, as well. You shouldn't shrink down from speaking the truth, not your truth, but the truth. If everybody has their own version of the truth, then it's all a lie. If everybody doesn't have the same truth, then it's all a lie. The truth is based on a cohesive understanding of a belief system being morally sound. If everybody believes something different and has their own truth, there's their perception. That doesn't make it truth. There's their belief. Doesn't make it truth. Truth, in and of itself, is defined as everybody agreeing something to be the truth. If I believe something but you don't believe it, then things are going to happen that if I'm telling the truth, you'll realize it through life experience. Or something called resonance, where a lot of us spiritual people talk about something resonating or confirming something that your intuition already knows. Your enemies are actually part of the process where you discover yourself. Because if you didn't have enemies, if you didn't have challengers, it wouldn't refine you as a person when you overcome the challenges they're here to present. Because they will always show you who you are. These people will never come at you by themselves. They always work in groups. Because you're too much of a formidable force for them to approach you on their own. So what do I mean by that? They'll either approach you behind a burner account with no face, no real name, okay? They won't approach you as they actually are, as can be identified, or they will do it and they get their strength and bravado from being in a group. But the more people that are against you, the more you see just how much of a threat you are. Conversely, if you have that person that you trust and has shown through many, many trials and tribulations, they're not going anywhere. That person has been pouring into you for years. They are showing you in a different way what these enemies have been showing you, but in a positive way. You get shown the same thing on two different sides. And you're the only one getting in your way. They could do all the magic in the world, ladies and gentlemen. But something is only allowed to happen if God has a purpose for it. If God has a purpose for a delay, He's going to allow the delay. If not, it's smooth sailing. And delays are only there to keep the pace, because things are supposed to happen at a certain time. Delays, much like when you wait for a bus, wait for a train, you're expecting it in 5 minutes, it doesn't come for another 7 minutes, another 12 minutes. It's because something either after or before has happened. The train before has something happening that is causing delay, or there could be a potential bad thing to happen if it's allowed to happen as is. So delays are just as important as jumps forward. All of this is important. The parts we love and the parts we hate, all of it is necessary. You do not know about good unless you learn about evil. You don't know that something is good unless you know that something is evil. You wouldn't be able to tell the difference. Conversely, you don't know who you are capable of until you know how much a person is pouring into you, the people that are not clapping for you, the people that just openly despise you and mock you. All of it is necessary. Your enemies are just as necessary as your supporters. They're both necessary. It's all about yin and yang. It's all about duality. And I talk about duality all the time. You have to have enemies. Don't look for them. Don't seek to be an enemy. But it's inevitable, especially if you have a big calling on your life. The bigger the calling, the more the enemies. And the more you tell the truth, not your truth, but the truth. There's a difference. Your truth is your opinion. The truth is what is objectively true, not subjectively, objectively true, despite your feelings about it. So I hope this helps in some way, shape, or form. Please let me know what you think in the voice messaging. I'll leave the link, and I will talk to you in the next episode.